Hello and welcome back to Small Screen Stories. This is the show where I go over all the news in the world of entertainment and pop culture. I am the editor of Small Screen. My name is Edward Lauder, and all the articles and stories I talk about tonight come all straight from Small Screen, where you can find at small-screen.co.uk. If you could, before I start off this, which will be a rather long stream tonight, before starting off, if I could ask you to like and subscribe, that would be wonderful. That would really help me out. And if you could follow us also on social media at Small Screen Co, that would also be really, really cool. You can find that at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Small Screen Co, everywhere. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, why not? I'm at EJ Lauder. And again, all these articles, all these stories come from Small Screen, which you can find at small-screen.co.uk. And now that that's all out of the way, let's get right into the news. And the very first bit of news I wanted to talk about was, well, very much Zack Snyder Justice League related. So the very first thing I wanted to talk about was what Zack Snyder said recently about the fact that Warner Brothers has no interest in making Justice League 2. So this story is kind of upsetting and disappointing for many reasons. It's because many of us would love to see a Justice League 2, but also because of really what he says. So this is in an interview he did on a YouTube channel called E-Minutemen, which is a reference to Watchmen, of course, which is a movie that Zack Snyder directed. And he was very candid in this interview with them. He said that they were talking about the possibility of a sequel, and he said, "The reality is, as far as I know, there's no interest and or appetite to do more of these movies from Warner Brothers, with me anyway. But I didn't think finishing this film correctly would ever happen. But I did do my best to, as far as the creation of the Justice League, those different personalities being brought together, that's what the movie is about. There is a suggestion, of course, in the film that there would be within any of these movies of a larger universe that's still out there." So I wanted to break this down because he actually talks specifically about Warner Brothers. But the fact of the matter is, this is no longer really a Warner Brothers film. This is actually really vital for HBO and HBO Max, and also AT&T. So it looks like early tracking is that this film is tracking very, very well. So it's already the second most, the recent trailer, which I will talk about in a second, is already the second most viewed trailer of Warner Brothers trailer of all time. So it's above Godzilla vs Kong, and I think it's also above Dune. So there's a lot of interest in this, and rightly so. It's a very interesting movie to be. Well, I think I'm very interested in seeing it, and I know a lot of people are very interested in seeing it as well. A lot of people are also very interested in seeing Zack Snyder get to finish his kind of story. Originally, it was going to be, I think, 5 movies he was going to be making in the DCU, so that would have started with Man of Steel, then Batman vs Superman, then Justice League Part 1, Part 2, and then a potential third film. So potentially a third Justice League movie. So he's never really got to finish that, and there is a story arc there that I know he would love to do. And he's already been writing these stories, and it looks like he might be releasing them. If it doesn't happen as a series or as a movie, it could happen as a comic book. That's what he was talking about a couple of months back. So I would like to see him get to do that. But I just think the way he's been treated by Warner Brothers has been really bad. Even if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of the DCU. I do like it. I think there's a lot of good stuff there, but I also think that they get things slightly wrong, and that might be down to Zack Snyder. But I think his films are visually very arresting. They're really good to look at. There are some really fascinating themes there, quite big for a comic book movie, and that's something that I really do enjoy. But then I think it does kind of go into that kind of the final third of all these films are a bit kind of smashy, bashy, explosion-y. That's a word. That's not a word, but never mind. And that's just the problem these films have, and it's the problem I have with them. But I think Zack Snyder really was treated poorly, and I think he should be allowed to finish his story. It's been so long now that he's been part of this. And he also in a subsequent interview revealed that basically Warner Brothers has really dropped the ball as far as distribution of this film's concerned, and that's a big deal, because it's one thing kind of not wanting the film to be released, but then if you release, you agree to make this film, it's 70 million they agree to spend extra on this film to get this film made, and then you botch the release, which is basically what they're doing. So this was in an interview with Snyder Cuts BR, which is a Brazilian, they're a Brazilian YouTube channel, and bear with me, this is a very long quote. All of it is out of my hands, sadly. I wish I was in charge of that as well. This is to do with distribution. Unfortunately, I'm not. So yeah, there's been not amazing work done with the distribution of the movie. I don't know why that is, honestly. I honestly I can't put my finger on it. And I don't want to seem like there's some sort of conspiracy out there. I don't think so. I really just think it was like, I think part of the problem is no one saw the movie coming, right? And I think that's the normal window, the normal way people in Hollywood distribute movies is they understand when the movie gets made and that it's going to have to be distributed. And that's normally they have a 2-year window to figure all that out. The problem is this happened in 6 months and came to life and caught everyone off guard. And I also the demand caught everyone off guard. I do believe that when the movie was greenlit, the Snyder Cut version was greenlit, I don't know that there was a sense of urgency and understanding of the worldwide demand that there would be required of the distribution and the studio and everyone to satisfy. And the only way I think in some ways is to let your local carriers and Warner Brothers in general or HBO Max let them know or understand that it's important to you guys, because I think in their minds it's, I don't know how many people want to see it. I'm not certain of that, but I think it's important to let it be known that it's a thing and there's interest interest in the form of you guys, the fans. Sorry, it's a very, very long quote, but it really does seem as though he's just upset by the fact that that Warner Brothers is just letting this film kind of trickle out and kind of, everything is coming from HBO Max, really, not Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is kind of, going, right, that's out there now, that's done. Let's move on to the next thing, and that's really not the way it should be. The way it should be is that they really should be promoting this film more than they are. There are rumors that there's a secret, kind of a last trailer coming out on March the 1st. I believe that's the rumor at the moment, and I think that would be great if they do release a final trailer, because it did say that this was going to be the final trailer. But there are rumors that there might be another one, and I really hope there is, because it needs it. We need more people to know about this, and as it stands, not enough people, I don't think, do. So I'm not hating on DC, Kevin, but yeah. So it's something that I really do believe. I think the distribution of this film is an issue. I think they haven't done it properly. Take for instance where I am here in France. It's like we only have, at the moment, all cinemas are closed, and we don't have HBO Max here, and it's the same in the UK. So honestly, we don't know where this film's going to come. Like in what form? Like, is it going to be coming to HBO, like to Canal Plus in France, possibly Sky in the UK? We still don't really know that and it's March 18th it's supposed to be coming out. So what I'll say is that the distribution's been poor because there's just been no information. That's the thing. The amount of information that we've been given has been very US focused and US centric. And that's bad, because if you look at most of the fans of this, a lot of them will be based in the United States, but there's a huge population in places like Brazil, Europe, that really want to see this film. China even, and at the moment, it looks like we still don't know how we're going to get this film. That maybe some places in the world might get it in cinemas, but then other places in the world won't, because cinemas are closed due to lockdown restriction, and COVID-19 restrictions, which is just a bummer. But it's just annoying. And the fact that this is like the second most watched Warner Brothers trailer ever just really brings it home. It's like, well, people are obviously watching this trailer and getting very excited about it. So why are they not doing more in order to get the word out? They're really not doing enough. And like it was revealed by What's on HBO Max on Twitter that the Snyder Cut has become the second most viewed trailer ever in its first 24 hours, with 24.9 million across all official accounts on social media, beating The Batman at 22 million, Dune at 20.8 million, and it was only behind, Godzilla vs. Kong, which was at 25.6. So what are you doing, Warner Brothers? I suppose I'll end that little rant there, because there's a lot more stuff to get into. There's the fact that apparently, Zack Snyder revealed that the opening scene will involve Lex Luthor, which you could hear Lex Luthor actually in the trailer, in the narration. So that's, of course, played by Jesse Eisenberg. Zack Snyder also confirmed that was Granny Goodness in the trailer. People were joking that it would look like it was being played by Judi Dench, but I don't think so. I don't think Judi Dench is Granny Goodness, although that would have been fantastic casting. If you don't know who Granny Goodness is, she is bad news, let's say. Don't let her kind of cuddly name fool you. She is not good. She is very much tied to Darkseid, and is the one that kind of brings up his children and brings them up horribly, basically by torturing them for their entire lives until they can escape. And I believe that's the whole story of Miracle Man, or Mr. Miracle, is that he did escape. And that's kind of his power, is to escape things. And that's a really cool Mr. Miracle. I can't remember who wrote that comic, but there was a recent one that came out. I'm blanking on Tom King, I believe it was. But that's a brilliant comic book. If you can find that, I would really highly recommend it. It's a bit weird, but it's very good. So Zack Snyder also revealed that he'd like to see Ben Affleck's Batman fight Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke. So this is something that actually was kind of teased by Joe Manganiello, that the Batman film that Ben Affleck was in the process of making was actually going to feature Deathstroke as its main villain, which meant we were going to get to see Deathstroke fight Batman. So this was again in that interview that Snyder did with E! Minutes Men. He said, "I love Joe, he's great. I really would love to see those two go at it. That would be fun. Who knows? We know that Ben's going to be in the Flash movie, which is nice to see him back as Batman. It's trickling down. It's nice." So he really wants to see that happen. And you know what? I think we should see it as well. I think that would be a great movie to watch. Joe Manganiello versus Ben Affleck, Batman versus Deathstroke. Bring it on, I say. Right, moving on. And moving on to some... This is kind of going to be the Joker section of the stream. So Jared Leto reportedly wants to keep keep his Justice League nightmare look as the Joker in a future project. So this was revealed by Daniel Rickman, who's a serial scooper. And I have to say, watching the trailer, so I think the very first thing is we got to talk about Jared Leto's Joker, because Jared Leto's Joker is the most, for me, like I never really thought I'd be interested in seeing Jared Leto play Joker again. But after having seen those images that were the Zack Snyder photos that were in the Vanity Fair article recently, they look brilliant. Like really, he looks so... I mean, the only word I can say is cool. Like, if you compare him in this movie to the way he looked, I'll bring it up for you guys here. Like, that just looks cool. That looks really cool. And you compare that look there to this look here, and it's just night and day. It's just so much better. But I'm teasing a little article that's going to come up later. But yeah, I think he looked great. And then already in those black and white photos, I really liked the way he looked. And then we saw him in live action in the trailer, and of course he says we live in a society, which got a lot of people very excited for reasons. No, it's because that's kind of a meme that's gone around, and Jared Leto and Zack Snyder both worked. They worked their magic there, and they put that in the trailer, and it's going to be in the movie, and people are very excited about it. And that's another thing. It really does seem as though they've been listening to the fans, and now I really do think, especially that last, for me, the Justice League trailer was good. It was interesting. Again, I'm kind of trying to reserve judgment on it at the moment because I haven't seen it, and I am excited for it, as I said before. But just wait until we see it to really judge it. But having said that, I did get goosebumps when the Jared Leto Joker scene at the end, where you see him in the nightmare sequence. He's wearing the SWAT vest. He's got the gun, and we live in a society, and it's just a really cool. I can't remember the whole line he says, but he ends it with Batman, and he says Batman in a cool way. Let me just get. We live in a society. Joker line. Let's see if I can get it up. It's just one of those moments that it's like spine tingling, and I really think it's kind of it's a retweaking of the kind of we live. And then Jared Leto, of course, posted the trailer on Twitter with captioning it with saying "We live in a society." So it's definitely something they did deliberately. It's not one of those things that just kind of happened. It wasn't happenstance, which I like as well. The internet is losing it basically because of that. But I'm more interested in what he's going to be doing in this film. So it looks like. Well, actually, no, Zack Snyder did actually reveal what's happening. It's going to be a scene between Batman and Joker, and basically it's going to be Joker talking to Batman about Batman, which I think is quite fascinating. It's almost like the Joker's kind of psychoanalyzing the Batman, which I think is something he would definitely be doing. And it looks, this nightmare sequence is a premonition. Is it a premonition? Is it a dream sequence? It's kind of a bit of everything, maybe. It's like probably a bit in the movie where it's a version of the future that they try to avoid from happening. And in that version of the future, Joker looks like he's actually having to help Batman and the members of the Justice League. And actually in that trailer, in that shot, you do see that Cyborg is there with Batman. So Cyborg will be in that kind of nightmare sequence as well. So I really do believe that this upcoming movie is 4 hours long. It's going to be 4 hours long. I'm excited for something that's going to be 2 minutes probably, the Jared Leto Joker scene. But it does mean, now I'm moving on to the stuff that I really, really wanted to talk about. But before I get onto that, I just wanted to say that Jared Leto just looks incredible in this. He's a fantastic actor, and I've always known he is. He had the potential in him to be a really good Joker. He was done a disservice by 2016 Suicide Squad, but again, a lot of that was probably down to him and the way he chose to play that character. Again, there's a lot of that that's left on the cutting room floor. So we'll probably, unless they release the David Ayer cut, which I hope they do. But I'm pretty sure they actually will the minute they see how well this does for HBO Max. Releasing these sorts of kind of director versions of movies, so director's cuts of movies. We'll get probably a more interesting version of Jared Leto's Joker in that film. But I think moving forward, I think it looks like we're going to be seeing more of Jared Leto's Joker in future projects because he loves playing the role. And I think this film will make people fall in love with him. I think he'll be really fascinating. Actually, the last thing I wanted to say about his Joker in that trailer was that it looked a bit like a character from an anime. Series, and I really like that. I think that really suits. First of all, it suits Jared Leto, and it also suits the Joker. And we saw it a bit in Batman Ninja, that sort of style. But I think I don't know. I got kind of like if you've watched Death Note, then you might know Light in that, and I got kind of Light vibes. I can't remember his last name. It is Light, I think his name is, and I really got those sorts of vibes from that character, from Jared Leto's very micro performance in that Justice League trailer. But let me know what you thought about that in the comments below. Right now, I've been teasing this enough. Now this is the exclusive that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So. We were told by sources reportedly close to Warner Brothers that Jared Leto and Zack Snyder are developing a story for a potential Joker solo movie together. So we were, full spoilers. We were told that, full spoilers for the exclusive. We were told that it is at the moment looks like they want to make a movie, but it could end up becoming a series. And they could actually do it with HBO Max. It seems as though... it really does seem as though to me that Zack Snyder's got a good relationship with HBO Max compared to Warner Brothers. So, and also these sorts of projects are things that HBO Max might actually have to rely on moving forward, because already Walter Hamada did actually say that they're going to be releasing, I think it's 2 DC Comics movies a year on HBO Max, and this could be one of them. It could be a Joker solo movie. And it seems as though Jared Leto and Zack Snyder enjoyed working together so much, like they really loved it on Justice League, that they want to work together again and develop that character together. So this is what the source told us. He said, what I can tell you is that Jared and Zack are working on developing a standalone Joker story together to be made into a future movie. Things are very, very early days at the moment, but they're very excited about the idea. Notice how many veries they put in that quote. And then I was just asking them if this is going to be a movie, which they did say, like, I wanted to push them a bit further, and they said, as it stands, the idea is for a Joker solo movie, but it could very well end up being a TV series. I've even heard rumors that they might release this story as a graphic novel. That's something that both Zack and Jared are very interested in doing. So all this to say is that it seems as though they're in the very early stages of developing a story, developing a Joker story. Jared Leto has been tied to a Joker movie for years now, ever since he was, even before, I think, Suicide Squad. There was going to be a Jared Leto Joker solo movie and a Joker and Harley Quinn film. Now, it looks like those two films are kind of been put to one side, but it also looks like there might be more from hopefully from Jared Leto's Joker and Zack Snyder's Snyderverse. This would be part of the Snyderverse, and I actually think this would suit Zack quite a lot more, especially if it's because Joker would be dark. It would be a dark movie, and I think this sort of film, focusing on a villain as well, would definitely be more interesting, as directed by Zack Snyder. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Right, moving on. What are we going to be moving on to? It's Mephisto. Oh dear, we've got Mephisto in the comments. What's going on? Mephisto, you better appear in WandaVision. Yeah, you really do. Right, let's move on and move on to actually. This does connect to our exclusive, but it was revealed by Geekosity that Jared Leto's Joker might face Ben Affleck's Batman in an HBO Max adaptation of The Killing Joke. So this wasn't what I was told, but it could very well be that. That could very well be the project that they're working on together. Personally, I wouldn't want them to adapt The Killing Joke, because I actually think that comic book, I mean, I love Alan Moore, but I think that comic book is actually quite overrated. They did try to do an animated version. Well, they did an animated version of it with Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill as the Batman and the Joker respectively, and it really wasn't good. Then again, they did add a lot of useless stuff, some very kind of questionable scenes between Batman and Batgirl, which I think just I could not believe that stayed in the movie. But these things happen. I don't think. I think they might look at The Killing Joke and think maybe we can use some of this, but I hope that they go kind of a bit different with it and come up with an original story. That's just my personal opinion. But guys, you can let me know. There's a lot going on in. I'm not ignoring all right. We got Kevin Feige in the comments, of course we do, and he's being very annoying. I am paying attention to the fans. I'm just trying to get through all the news because there's so much news that's going on at the moment. Amber Heard is reportedly already trying to secure her role in Aquaman 3. This comes from Daniel Rickman. And this is something that I find rather amusing because it does, well, I don't find it amusing, but it does seem to me as though Amber Heard's days as Mira are pretty much numbered. I've been hearing rumors that her role is going to be, or is in the process of not being cut, but being very reduced in Aquaman 2. It seems as though they really want to move away from her and that role and that character, so they're not going to be recasting. And it looks like if there is an Aquaman 3, it might not feature Mira, but again, it's very, very early days, so don't quote me on that, please. It's just I am tired, but I'm not grumpy. I'm not trying to be grumpy. I'm not surprised to hear that. I think it's I think that's already kind of. I think Warner Brothers wants to remove themselves a bit from Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, so both of them. So this might be the best way to do it, just not have her be in in that film. Right, James Gunn is really looking forward to us seeing Harley Quinn. He revealed that on Twitter. So he's, of course, Margot Robbie's playing Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad, and James Gunn is very much looking forward for us to see it. So that means that it'll be good. He also said that he's looking forward for us to see Weasel, which is played by Sean Gunn, his brother. So I'm just really looking forward to this movie. I think it's going to be great. Are you looking forward to the Suicide Squad? This is a film that I really do think will be very good. I think I've got a lot of faith in I've got a lot of faith in James Gunn. I've been talking so much about Zack Snyder, and again, it is late here. I have had a long day, but I think this is probably going to be. I'm going to say it here. I think this is going to be the best movie that's been in the DCU so far. I've said it. I think it's going to be the best one. I think it's going to be better than Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Batman vs Superman. Definitely better than Justice League. So I think it's going to be the best one. And you can quote me on that one. You can definitely quote me on that one. Come back here when we've seen the movie and tell me what you think. Right, James Gunn has also been forced to confirm that he's still alive after an obituary mix-up. So Deadline put out an obituary for someone called James Gunn. It's actually James E. Gunn, who died at 97, and he's a science fiction writer. So James Gunn had to take to Twitter to say, guys, I'm still alive, because apparently he got a lot of tweets and people asking him if he's still alive, still okay. Sadly, we did lose James E. Gunn. He was 97, so as we say in England, that's a pretty good innings. But no, James Gunn is still with us, thank God. Keanu Reeves has reportedly passed on the role of Kraven the Hunter, which I'm very glad to hear, because he would not be good for that role. I always thought that Eric Bana would be better. Eric Bana is, he'd be a much better Kraven the Hunter. But then I'm also not really that interested in the Kraven the Hunter solo movie. I'm going to be honest. I don't think it really needs to be made. So it looks like they haven't been able to get Keanu Reeves. Hopefully we'll be able to get Keanu Reeves in another Marvel property. Avengers Endgame directors revealed that they're interested in making a Wolverine film. So they revealed that in an interview which I spoke about last week. So I won't go over that too much. I'm just going to say that happened. Captain Marvel 2 has cast Zoe Ashton as the villain, possibly Skrull Queen. So that last bit comes from Geekosity, so Mikey Sutton over at Geekosity. The news that Zoe Ashton has been cast as the villain in Captain Marvel 2 was revealed by Deadline, I believe, one of the big trades. She's a really good actress, actually. Blanking on the things that she's been in, but she's a British actress and she's really, really good. So I'm looking forward to that. It seems as though Captain Marvel 2 will feature the likes of Monica Rambeau, Ms. Marvel, and this new character, possibly Skrull Queen. So I think Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, and Monica Rambeau might have to work together. And of course, there's history between Monica and Captain Marvel, so that's going to be explored in that film as well, I'm pretty sure. Black Widow is still going to be coming out in cinemas, according to Disney CEO Bob Chapek, but they will be looking at kind of how things are going, I suppose, because I believe it's coming out May 7th in cinemas. I'm pretty sure they're going to be releasing it on both streaming and in cinemas. I think they're going to have to. They just have to release it now because it's been delayed, over a year, and they can't really delay it anymore. And it's something that I think they've just got to release it now. They've just got to release this film because it's been way too long. And I want to see it. I know a lot of you want to see it. I don't want to wait for it anymore. And I know it's not good for cinemas, but there's a backlog now, and that the fact that they haven't released it means that things are getting pushed even further in the within the MCU. So they just need to get this film out. Doctor Strange 2 apparently will bring in 2 Fox Marvel characters, Marvel movie characters into the movie. So this comes from Giant Freaking Robot, and they're claiming that both Professor X and Reed Richards will be in Doctor Strange 2, and they also said that Namor is going to be in it, and Namor the Submariner, and that's really interesting. I mean, that I don't believe Namor was part of the Fox movies. I think Marvel Studios always had the rights to Namor. But Professor X and Reed Richards definitely were Fantastic Four and the X-Men. So I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. I'm now also pretty sure that Reed Richards is coming to WandaVision. But that's speculation. I don't know anything. I haven't got any insider information on that yet. I haven't. Right, moving on. the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie villain Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2, its main villain, has reportedly been revealed, and this comes from the direct, and they're saying that it's going to be the Spot, which is, I think, really fascinating because I love the Spot. Again, the Spot's not really a villain, really. It's a scientist that develops a suit that has a lot of spots on it, and with the suit, the Spot, he can go to different, I suppose it's not really multiverses. It's kind of can go put his hand in a spot, and then the hand comes out somewhere else. It's kind of that sort of thing. But I think he does traverse like different Earths and different multiverses. So it might be interesting in that respect. That might have something to do directly with the Spider-Verse. So it does make sense to have that villain. I suppose he is a villain in that movie. I'm really looking forward to that. Again, that's my favorite Spider-Man film of all time. I just forgot to talk about Doctor Strange 2 casting the Watch star. So his name is Adam. I've forgotten his name. If you've been watching The Watch is a TV series that is, I actually really think it's great. It's a Terry Pratchett story. It's Doctor Strange. I'm just having to try and find the actual article to remember the name of the actor. Adam Hugill. Well, he's the lead in The Watch. So if you're watching The Watch, then you'll know who I'm talking about. But Rintrath is like a kind of Minotaur character, so it sounds like they're going really weird with this. It is called Into the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, so it is going to be strange. Right, moving away from Marvel movie news and onto some odd Star Wars news. So actually, it's been revealed by Rian Johnson himself. He literally confirmed it a couple of minutes ago that his Star Wars trilogy is still happening. So he did an interview pretty recently. I can't remember the name of the person he was talking to. Soraya Wilson. And they were talking apparently about what's going to happen with the Star Wars films, because of course he was confirmed. Kathleen Kennedy said he was going to be writing and directing a Star Wars trilogy, and then we've heard nothing about it. We've heard Kathleen Kennedy talk about Patty Jenkins in Star Wars film, Rogue Squadron, Taika Waititi Star Wars film, which is untitled, and she didn't actually talk about Kevin Feige's, but we know that's happening. He's making a Star Wars film as well. And then Soraya said, I'm just going to post this now because I can see that I'm going to get a lot of requests. Yes, Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy is still on. No dates or timelines because he has other projects going on, but it's happening. So Rian Johnson confirmed that it's happening. This is getting very confusing now. Like, how many movies are we getting? Rian Johnson, I think he's doing Knives Out 2 at the moment. So he's got that going on. We're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. I personally would love to see him first, I'd love to see a Star Wars trilogy that's been thought out, as opposed to just, here's a movie, do what you want with it within the trilogy. So having Rian Johnson kind of map out a trilogy from start to from beginning to end, and then get to direct it himself, I think is a great idea. And I always thought so. I personally loved The Last Jedi. I know a lot of people didn't, and that's fine. And I kind of understand where you're coming from, to be honest. But I really enjoyed what he was trying to do with that film and what he was trying to do with the Star Wars franchise. And I think actually someone like him is needed in the Star Wars universe. And they're bringing in some really interesting directors and writers and things like that to make some really fascinating stories within the Star Wars universe. So let's bring on his Star Wars trilogy. Right, moving on from that and on to Godzilla. Godzilla vs. Kong director. So that's Adam Wingard is directing. He's making a face-off sequel. So this was reported by Deadline. They originally reported that it was going to be a remake, and then they went back on that and said, actually, no, it's going to be a sequel. So does that mean that Nicolas Cage and John Travolta are coming back? More on that probably later on in the week. But the first film I love. It's a John Woo movie. I love John Woo films, and the first film was brilliant and mad and bonkers, and the fact they're doing a sequel is just weird. Adam Wingard is an interesting director, so he made The Guest, he made Godzilla vs. Kong, which looks brilliant, by the way, but he also made Death Note. He made Your Next as well, which is really, really good. So he's made some really good films and also some pretty bad ones. So I don't quite know where I stand on him, but I like the fact that they're doing this. I like the fact that they're making a sequel. I think that's as sequels and remakes go, I think that's a really interesting one to do. So I'm happy with Paramount for that one. I think they chose a good director. I think it sounds like, and also this probably means that Godzilla vs. Kong is great if they're choosing him. Right, more on Paramount stuff. Star Wars 4 is reportedly back on, and they're looking for a new director. And apparently, it's going to be an exclusive, a streaming exclusive. So Paramount have got this streaming platform that's coming out. I don't know when. Maybe it's already out in the US. It's called Paramount Plus, I believe. And apparently they're going to be releasing the Star Trek 4 movie on that and not in cinemas. And it's going to be Chris Pine and his crew back, which is what a lot of people wanted to see. I'm personally quite sad because I really wanted to see what Noah Hawley was going to do with it, but it looks like that's been put in the bin. But again, Noah Hawley's now doing the Alien, the Alien TV show for Hulu, which I'm very, very happy about. So you know what? Star Trek 4 can go ahead. I'm going to be honest. The Star Trek films. I thought the first one was good. Into Darkness was a bit meh, and then what was there? There was Star Trek Beyond. I thought Star Trek Beyond was not good. So I kind of lost interest in the Star Trek films, I'm going to be honest, and I think a lot of other people did. And that's why they're finding this really hard. And one of the reasons why I was so looking forward to Noah Hawley's one was because it was going to be different. They were going to move away from from Captain Kirk and all that lot and then do something different. And I think they need to do that. But it looks like they're going to be going back to the old ways, which is fine. Right, moving on. Jack Black has agreed to, be the voice of Claptrap in Eli Roth's Borderlands. So that film has a ridiculous cast. It's got Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, I believe, and Cate Blanchett is in it as well. That's already a really good cast for a video game movie. So I'm looking forward to that. Although I don't think Eli Roth, I don't have much faith in him. I think he's a bit suspect, I think, as a director. But who knows? Maybe he might. I quite like The House with the Clock in Its Walls. I think that was the last film he did with Cate Blanchett and Jack Black. I thought that was a good kids movie, actually. Right. Final bit of movie news, and that's that Halloween Kills might go straight to streaming. And this was said by John Carpenter. So this film was actually supposed to come out last year. It's David Gordon Green is directing it, and it was written with. I wish I could remember these names off. I'm trying to do most of this off the top of my head because I did write most of these articles, but sometimes I forget names, and that's just something that happens to me in life. Right, who is the guy that wrote it? He's the comedy actor. Danny McBride, there we go. They wrote the first, the kind of Halloween sequel that kind of forgot all the movies after Halloween, the first one, which John Carpenter made, and it was a direct sequel to that. And I thought that was really good. That came out back in 2018, and now they're making Halloween Kills, and Halloween Kills was supposed to come out last October. It's now coming out in 2021, so October 15th it's coming out. And John Carpenter basically said that theaters are dead, and at the moment it's a tragedy, but it's true. We have to face it. The studio did contact David and I, and they said they had to put this off for a year and hope things get better. So we're still hoping it'll get better, but it looks like it's going to be coming to streaming as opposed to being released in cinemas, which is a shame. I think that sort of film really does benefit from being seen in theaters by as many people as possible. Right. Kevin Feige is casting me as Gambit. Oh, that's great. Thank you very much. Right, next bit of news. We're moving on to the TV stuff, and it's being reported that WandaVision's last 3 episodes will be 1 hour each. So this comes after Kevin Feige revealed that the show as a whole is going to be 6 hours long. And at the moment, we've only seen 3 hours of that. And we've only got 3 episodes left. So naturally, that makes you think, well, if they're going to be splitting this out, they're going to be splitting it out evenly, hopefully, that the last 3 episodes will be 3 hours long. But there is that story that there's going to be a secret 10th episode, which means that they could, technically, the next episodes could still be half an hour long, and then the last 2 will be a bit longer. I think either the last one will be longer, or they'll all be 1 hour long each. At the moment, it's being reported that they will be 1 hour long each episodes. We'll have to wait and see. WandaVision episode 6, if you watched it, referenced Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Evan Peters' movie that they're in together called Kick-Ass. That was a great moment. Now there's... Okay, this bit I wanted to spend a bit of time on because I think it's a fascinating theory. I love fan theories, and I think this one really got me going because I'm pretty sure it's right. But if you remember a couple of weeks ago, we reported that Ultron was going to be in WandaVision. People told me it was a bit of a spoiler, which, you know what? That's fine. But again, me writing spoiler is going to turn up in WandaVision is not really much of an article. So I went with it and I said, no, James Spader is returning as Ultron. And then this, I'm not saying this spawns this theory, but this theory then came out there that actually director Hayward is Ultron in disguise. And I think that's a fantastic theory. So it came from Jay's Patrol on Twitter, and they said, in the Avengers Assemble show, Ultron took on a human form as a government official to take out the Avengers. So Hayward could be Ultron in disguise, and that's why he wanted Visions' corpse. And that makes so much sense. It would explain why Hayward is doing what he's doing, why he's so adamant on basically killing Wanda. He doesn't want to bargain with her. He doesn't want to work with her, and he also hates superheroes. So there's a lot there that I think really could be the case. And also that's probably one reason why Hayward was so desperate to get as far away from Westview as possible when they found out that she was expanding the perimeter, because the minute he ends up in that perimeter, his true form will be revealed. All the magic will get rid of the disguise, and then we'll see that it's actually Ultron. I think that would be wonderful if that happened. I also think if that were to happen, and then basically we find out that Wanda is doing this all herself, I think that would satisfy me. I know that, I'm going to talk about this. Kevin Smith, for instance, said that he thinks that the villain of this show is Mephisto. That's fine. I would love that to be the case. But if that's not the case, I'd be very happy with Ultron returning and voiced by James Spader. I think that'd be really great. That's what we were told is happening. But I like this theory. I love reading all these fan theories. I've been trying to come up with some of them myself, talking to people that have watched the show as well, and theorizing over what could happen. And that's been really great actually about this show. This show has been really, really good at getting Marvel fans talking again, because this is the first bit of Marvel content we've had for a year now. But it's also been, I think, in my mind, the best. Really some of the best Marvel content we've ever had, because it really makes you think, and it keeps you guessing, and it's also that they're working in themes and they're doing something really unique with this show, and I think bringing back Ultron in this way would also be a nice way to harken back to what happened in some of the animated TV shows and potentially some of the comics. I'm going to be honest, I don't know about that sort of stuff, but when it comes to Marvel comics, my knowledge is relatively limited. I am a DC Comics guy. I'm very much into DC Comics, and with Marvel stuff, I tend to stick to Spider-Man. But who knows? I honestly hope it's the case, because I think director Hayward is already quite an interesting character. It's like at the moment he is coming off as like that kind of procedural drama, kind of like cop show guy in charge, and I think it'd be fascinating if they give that character just a bit more depth, and this really would do that, and that it would kind of explain why he is the way he is. Incidentally, I've also heard another rumor that says that actually there are 2 TV shows going on. That they have the WandaVision show that's with Wanda, and she's actually also kind of getting a procedural crime drama thing going on the side, which is what we're seeing outside of the perimeter that Wanda's created for herself. I think that's quite an interesting theory. Personally, I don't think that's happening, but I think that's interesting. And I if that's the way they go, I'd be very happy with that as well. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. Right, moving on. Next bit of TV news, and that's that a WandaVision star, so Paul Bettany, actually revealed that certain fan theories, talking of fan theories, are very accurate. So that makes me think that this Ultron one probably is right. But no, there have been so many out there, and of course some of them will hit on something that's correct. But I like the fact that they're obviously reading these fan theories and loving it, and it's something that I'm really, really excited about. And I just really want to get to the end of this show, because I think it's fantastic. Right, moving away from WandaVision and onto Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And it's been revealed that it's been given an R rating in the Netherlands. which has made people think, well, will that mean that it will be then brought to Star in Europe and then Hulu in the US? What's going to happen with it? If it's R-rated, does it mean that we'll get a different cut in different parts of the world? One that's kind of more gritty with more swear words and stuff like that? And because I'm surprised that a place like the Netherlands would give this an R rating. Because, you know, they're not... I've been to Holland, and it's, you know, it's not a place that you'd think they'd be that bothered about kind of swear words in their movies. So maybe I'm generalizing. Maybe that is a generalization, but it's just something that kind of seems a bit strange to me. But let me know what you guys think about that. Pedro Pascal reportedly tried to get Gina Carano to change her ways before she was fired. So this is coming from Daniel Rickman again. Apparently he was trying really hard to get her to stop posting on social media, but she was fired. I mean, I'm pretty upset about her being fired, to be honest, because I don't really think she should have been. But, you know, I did mention this in the last episode I did. It is her own fault, unfortunately, especially if she was told by people to stop doing this, then it's kind of her own fault, unfortunately. And this goes back to people wanting, apparently, Lucy Lawless to replace Gina Carano as Cara June. Lucy Lawless, of course, played Xena the Princess Warrior. I think that'd be a great recasting, but I don't think they're going to recast. It's just one of those things. I think they're going to keep it the way it is. I think they're just going to have her not turn up and just maybe name drop her every now and again, but not have her be recast. I don't think anyone would want her to be. I know people are talking about Lana Pirelli playing Cara June and really liking that idea. People really love the idea of Lucy Lawless playing her, but no, I think they're just going to keep it the way it is. Ray Park teased a return as Darth Maul in a future Star Wars project. So Ray Park he posted a picture of his of Darth Maul's horns. You know, he looked like he was in a what are they called, a hair and makeup truck, I believe they're called. Now, if he's returning, so I'm a bit perplexed by this, because it seemed as though Lucasfilm had kind of severed ties with Ray Park after the whole kind of revenge porn thing that happened, which is a bit weird. But it looks like they might be looking to bring him back, because, of course, really, Ray Park is the only person that can play Darth Maul in the flesh. And if they want to bring him back, which apparently they wanted to bring the character back for potentially the Kenobi series, and also, you know, other stuff, maybe the Lando series as well, that they need him back, really, because he's the embodiment of that character. They could do a CGI version of the character, but I think that'd be really bad. So we're just going to have to wait and see. He's been teasing it, so maybe he's just trying to get fans to, you know, get that going. It did and it didn't. It got a couple of, I think it got over 40,000 likes, which is fine. But, you know, I think people do want to see him back. I definitely want to see him back as Darth Maul, but I mean, I don't know what Lucasfilm is doing, really. I can't comment on that. But let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Right, J.J. Abrams is still developing a Shining spin-off series for HBO Max. So that was revealed by, I think that was What's on HBO Max. And they said that the show is still happening, even though we had Doctor Sleep, which was a sequel to The Shining. But the Shining spin-off series is more going to be just set in the same universe, but not be a direct sequel. So they're still doing that for HBO Max. A Grindelwald series is reportedly in the works for HBO Max, and this will be starring Mads Mikkelsen. So that comes from We Got This Covered. So maybe take that with a pinch of salt. Static Shock is now available to stream on HBO Max, the animated show. I love that show, so I'm really upset that we don't have HBO Max over here, but that was revealed by What's on HBO Max again. The CW has cancelled the Wonder Girl series even before it started shooting, so that's not good. It looks, again, I've said this before, it looks like the Arrowverse, the kind of all the CW DC Comics stuff is going to be leaving the CW, is going to be coming to HBO Max pretty soon. I think they're kind of winding down on that, and you know, it's been a good run, that's all I can say. And this Wonder Girl series was actually based on a comic that hasn't even come out yet, so I'm not surprised they decided to can it before even doing the pilot. Just one of those things. Donald Glover and Phoebe Waller-Bridge are starring in and creating a Mr. and Mrs. Smith series for Amazon. Now, this I want to see. Of course, the two of them were in Solo: A Star Wars Story together, and they were brilliant in that. I really liked them in that, and they're both very good creators. They've made brilliant shows. Atlanta, Donald Glover made, and of course, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is just she's fantastic, isn't she? She's the creator of Fleabag. She was also the writer and creator of the first season of Killing Eve, and then she's did a lot of rewrites on No Time to Die. So she's obviously a very talented writer and a really good actor as well. If you watch Fleabag, she's great in that. If you watch Solo: A Star Wars Story as well, she's great as the robot in that. But it looks like they're going to be doing a take on Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which you know what, that I want to see, because they're not quite. I mean, they're both very good-looking people, but you know, they're not Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, are they? Although, I mean, I think they're more interesting though. That's what I was thinking. I think they'd be more interesting as a couple in that sort of. The movie was directed by Doug Liman, and I love the film. I think the film is brilliant. But seeing them, it'll bring another kind of twist to it, and I'm really looking forward to it. Maybe more comedic elements as well, because both of them are fantastic comedians as well, so and very good comedic writers as well. So hopefully that's going to be the case. Tim Burton's The Addams Family TV series has been bought by Netflix. So Netflix owns the worldwide distribution rights to the show. And this is after a serious bidding war for the show. So Tim Burton is writing it now. Apparently it's going to be 8 episodes long. Each episode is going to be 1 hour long. And it's going to be called Wednesday, and it's going to be from Wednesday's point of view. Apparently they're looking for a Latina or Hispanic actress between the ages of 18 and 20 to play Wednesday. And it's also said that Morticia and Gomez Addams will still be involved in the series, and they're casting it as we speak. Of course, we were told that Johnny Depp is in talks to play Gomez Addams, which I think that would be perfect. And the final bit of news, this is really annoying, but Truth Seekers Season 2 isn't happening because Amazon has cancelled the show. And Nick Frost, basically this was the Nick Frost and Simon Pegg TV show that was brilliant about ghost hunters. It was really good. Ended on a cliffhanger the first season. I was desperate to see Season 2, but no, it looks like Amazon has cancelled that, which is a big bummer. And with that, I'll say goodbye. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow in it will be a shorter stream. This is a very long stream, and of course, I had to go over stuff relatively quickly. But if you could follow us on social media, that'd be great. That's at Small Screen Co. I also release this as a podcast, and you can find that everywhere. You get your podcast at Small Screen Stories, and if you're listening on Apple Podcast, a 5-star rating would be brilliant. You can follow me at EJ Lauder. You can go to the site at www.small-screen.co.uk. What else can you do? You can like and subscribe. That's the last thing I forgot. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great evening or morning wherever you are. Cheers and goodbye.